Opening hook. Some women do not chase. They do not beg, they do not bargain, and they do not linger at the gates of a closing heart. They walk away, quietly, like the tide leaving the shore, and yet they are never truly gone. For in the stillness they leave behind, they awaken something ancient in a man, something he cannot name, yet cannot silence. The archetypal woman. She is not defined by his possession of her. She carries her own mythology, her own private kingdom, built long before he entered its walls. To the untrained eye, she seems simply distant, but to the deeper mind, she is the embodiment of the anima, the feminine image living in his unconscious. Carl Jung would say she does not just appear to him as a woman, she arrives as a mirror of his soul. And when she leaves, that mirror cracks, revealing the emptiness he kept hidden even from himself. The man's unconscious. At first, he will tell himself it is pride that aches, that it is rejection that stings. But this is the language of the ego, the outer mask that shields the deeper wound. The truth is stranger, more primal. Her absence disrupts the story he tells about who he is. In her gaze, he once saw the hero, the conqueror, the man worth following. Without her, that image fades. And when a man's self-image dissolves, his mind begins the slow torture of replay, running over moments like beads through restless fingers, searching for where the spell broke. The first turning point, projection unraveled. What he mourns is not entirely her. It is the projection, the shimmering ideal he draped over her silhouette. In the beginning, she carried his unlived dreams, his tenderness, his vulnerability, even his own unclaimed power. But projections are fragile things, they shatter under the weight of truth. When she stepped back, when she refused to shrink to fit his comfort, the light shifted. He saw her as she was, not the character in his story, but the author of her own. That was when the longing began to rot into obsession, for he could no longer control the narrative. The second turning point, the shadow's arrival. In the solitude she left behind, his shadow rises. The parts of himself he disowned now circle him like wolves in the dark. His fear of inadequacy. His hunger for validation. His need to dominate what he does not understand. Jung would say the shadow demands recognition, and it comes wearing her scent. Every woman he meets after her will carry a fragment of that ghost, but never the whole shape. And so the search continues, endless, exhausting, fruitless. The woman's detachment. And she? She does not watch the search. Her steps have carried her far beyond his labyrinth of self. For she has seen the mechanics of projection and refused to be the vessel for another's unfinished work. She knows that her worth is not measured in his obsession, but in her own alignment with what is real. Where his nights are restless, hers are deliberate. Where he chases phantoms, she cultivates presence. This is not cruelty, it is individuation. The conscious withdrawal from entanglement, the claiming of one's own psychic ground. The third turning point, the myth he cannot kill. Yet, there is one truth he cannot escape. The woman who walks away on her own terms becomes mythic. Time does not erode her, it polishes her. Her silence becomes a script he reads over and over, looking for answers between the lines. And in that silence, he hears echoes, not of her voice, but of his own emptiness. This is the final cruelty of desire, it is not the presence of the other that binds, but the absence that cannot be undone. Liberation closing. Some women do not chase. They do not kneel at the altars of fading affection. They understand the gravity of their leaving. And they leave anyway. For they know the truth that Jung hinted at and the Stoics lived by. The self is never truly owned by another. The man may carry her in his mind until his final breath. But the woman who walks away in silence isn't weak. She simply sees more.